Oh, hello, YouTube. Today on the Naughty Librarian, I am going to review so many books. It's been a minute since I did a book review video, and I've read a lot of books since, which I feel good about because usually at this point I'd be in such a reading slump, but yet luckily I haven't been in a reading slump. I think it's because I've been reading books I genuinely like. Also, some of them are fairly short, so that also helps. So let's just get into it. These are all of the books I have read like recently. First category, as always, is books I have already reviewed, and I have two of them, and that is Angel Time and Of Love and Evil by Anne Rice. It is a duology. Long story short, this series is fine. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just kind of average. I liked book 2 slightly better than book 1, surprisingly. But overall, it's just basically playing Assassin's Creed on sad mode. That's this book series in a nutshell. So I have full videos. You can check those out if you want to get the full scoop. Next category is sci-fi, and I read 5 of them, and as you can see, I tabbed the hell out of each and every one of these, so it was a good time for sci-fi for me. First things first, I reread both All Systems Red and Artificial Condition by Martha Wells. I love the Murderbot series. These are rereads, but I wanted to read at least the first 2 books because the series is coming out. It's starting on June 17th, I believe. I am going to be doing episode recaps. I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna compare them to the books. I might bring up the books on occasion, but the books, as you can see, are very short. They're like 100 pages, so obviously the show is going to be adding quite a bit of content because it's only 100 pages. They're doing 10 hours. They have to add something here. But I think if you wanted to go into the series having read something, because I think the Murderbot series is about 6 or 7 books, just read book 1 and 2 because I think this will be sufficient for season 1 because I think season 1 is going to be All Systems Red, this plot line of this book, but they might throw in a little bit of the second book because Artificial Condition kind of goes into Murderbot's past and what brought them to be and where they were at the start of this book. So both of these books I think are good if you want to read something before the show, but if not, I'm going to try to do recaps on them. We'll see. Speaking of books made into TV shows or movies, I attempted to read Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton, which just became Mickey 17, the movie. I wanted to like it. I ended up DNFing at about 50%. So I gave it a good go. I read half this thing and then realized I did not care how it ended. Like at all, because not enough had happened in the first half of the book for me to be like engaged. However, that being said, I don't necessarily think it's poorly written. I just think it's not the best pacing for a book. I think it'd be really, really good if you enjoy like Andy Weir, for example. I feel like it's a similar writing style, or maybe even Ernest Cline. Both of those writing styles, you might get into Edward Ashton. So you know, it's going to scratch that itch because Andy Weir and Ernest Cline haven't put out a book in quite some time. But Mickey 7 is basically, there's this guy who's an expendable, which means they have copied his DNA and he can like download his thoughts or his brain, I guess. And he keeps getting killed in horrendous and unique ways, and then they just print a copy afterward. So he just keeps getting reborn as the same Mickey. And now they're on a planet with a potentially hostile species, and it's up to Mickey to save the day. Parts of it were good. It was not great pacing. It went far too slow. And we haven't even gotten into the main conflict of the book yet, and we're at 50%. So there's issues here, but I don't know. I don't think it's a bad book. It just wasn't the book for me. But back to a book I really, really enjoyed was Murder My Memory by Olivia Waite. Now, I've read Olivia Waite books before because mainly she had done like historical romances. And now here we are doing a sci-fi mystery. And as you can see, it's very short. It's a novella. It's about 100 pages. You could read it in like an hour probably. But it's about a space detective. So it's kind of like noir, but like on a space station. And someone had been murdered and they have to figure out who did it. And I really like the characters. I think if this is going to be the start of a series, I would definitely read more in this series. I really like this character. I like the quirky sidekicks and other characters and the world building here. I think it's all really, really fun. And also, it's a quick, breezy read. It's like a quick mystery story in space with a lovable, kind of curmudgeon-y, although noir space detective. So if that all sounds great to you, then you should pick this up. It's really good. It's 5 stars. I want to read more in this series desperately. I also read When the Moon Hits Your Eye by John Scalzi, and oh boy, I tabbed the heck out of this book. Basic idea here is that the moon, the moon in our sky, it turned into cheese, like the old nursery rhyme, but for realsies. The moon is now cheese. How does the world deal with this? And it's kind of a different book for John Scalzi because it's not a traditional narrative where you follow one character from start to end. It's more so like a bunch of vaguely interconnected short stories because every chapter is pretty much a new character. There are some characters that make cameos in other chapters, and some pretty bizarre things happen overall. I can't even give you a hint of the bizarre things because they're so bizarre, you just have to be there for it. But a lot of weird cheese-related things happen in this book. Obviously, the moon is made of cheese. And I know, it sounds kind of dumb. However, it's really well written. Some of these characters in this are, I would go so far as to say, poignant when I read their stuff, and I started crying. Like, not everything is like a bucket of laughs or zany rom-com or zany adventures. Some of it's also heartfelt and kind of sad. It runs the gamut of emotions, really. So overall, I really did like it. I wouldn't say I necessarily loved it because I do like sticking with one character the whole way through rather than just a bunch of short stories. However, I liked almost all of these short stories. So it's like a weird, I give it a 4. I give everything a 4, basically. I just read things I like. I don't read things I don't like, so I never have like low ratings. But 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I tabbed the heck out of it. Some chapters are better than others. Last sci-fi book I read is The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune. Oh my god, this is gonna be on my best books of the year list. I am obsessed with it. I tabbed it, not as much, because there's not as many laughs in this book, but oh my god, is it incredible. Like, I finished reading this book and I literally hugged it. You know the feeling when you finish a book and you hug it because you loved it that much? That's this for me. It's also my first book by TJ Klune. I have several other of his books and I've met him and I hadn't read any, but I was like, all right, I was gonna meet him at LA Times Festival of Books. I gotta read this one, and I'm so glad I did. It is beautiful. It's kind of, I don't know, the best way you can describe it is to say it's kind of like E.T., but queer. If that sounds awesome to you, you're gonna love this book. It's so fun. It's sci-fi because there's like aliens. I'm just gonna tell you, the alien's name is Artemis Darth Vader, which already should tell you everything you need to know about this book. It's really good. It's kind of about found family, finding light in the darkness, moving forward with your life, all these kind of things. It deals with a lot of subject matter while also still being kind of like a thrilling, let's escape from the government with an alien story. So overall, loved it incredibly. I hugged it. Best books of the year list right now. Go out and read it. I don't want to say more about what this is about because it's incredible. So just trust me. Go read it. It's great. Next category is murder mystery, and I only have one of them. Kills Well with Others by Deanna Raybourn. I'm obsessed with it. Look how many tabs I put into this thing. I love it. This is the sequel to Killers of a Certain Age, which I also was obsessed with and made my best books of the year list. The general premise of this series is that there's a group of female assassins, and they've been like on an assassin team for like decades, and now they're all women of a certain age. And the first book is them kind of coming out of retirement for a mission, and then this is them deciding, you know what? I like being out of retirement. Let's do more missions. So it's definitely kind of a spy thriller, zany because there's such weird stuff going on. And mind you, these are assassins that we're rooting for, okay? Like, there's a fair amount of gore and murder in here, but it's also just really funny. And like, I love the friendships between these women because they're all very different. There's like a loose chicken at one point. You'll just have to read it and see what that means. But I love it so much. I love this series. If they make more books in this series, I am going to buy them and devour them. They're so good. Last category is romance, and I got 5 of them, and they're all kind of different genres of romance for the most part, so it's gonna be interesting. First up, I have Wooing the Witch Queen by Stephanie Burgess. And you know what? This one is fun, okay? I gave it 4 stars in the end. Is it the best book I've ever read? No, but it hot damn was this entertaining, and I love the premise. So this is like the Queens of Villainy series, and our main characters, you know, we have our evil witch queen, allegedly evil witch queen, and then we have like a nobleman escaping danger and stuff. And then along the way, they fall in love for real. I don't want to give away too many spoilery plot points here, but it's kind of a Grump Sunshine relationship. It's also subverts tropes in a really interesting way because, okay, for example, slight as the spoilers here. You know, in like fantasy romances, you always have the moment where one of the characters, it's usually the female character, takes like a shirt off or something and she has scars, and then you'll have like the male main love interest go like, who did this to you? This book does that, but it's reversed because he has scars and she's like, who did this to you? And she's like an evil witch queen, so like, ooh, it's scary. My only like issue with it is that I didn't think the pacing was top notch. It was almost too slow burn at times, and I felt like it could have used more plot development than just relationship development, which it's kind of a minor gripe because honestly, I like them. I believe that they would fall in love with each other. I want to read the next book in this series. So overall, it's hooked me. I think it's a good choice if you also really like Assistant to the Villain. I think it has similar vibes. So if you like that, you would also like this. And overall, really fun. I liked it. I'm gonna get the next book. I read Red Rabbit by Alex Gresham. And this is actually like a Western horror fantasy. And I tabbed the heck out of it. Oh boy, did I really like this book. Basic plot here. There is a kind of a group of misfits on the frontier, the Wild West, and they are going to a town because they were hunting an evil witch. And along the way, they meet up with all kinds of ghoulish creatures, obstacles in their way, like way more cannibalism than I was expecting, frankly. I do think it does get pretty gory at times. I wouldn't say gratuitously gory, but just be aware if you're sensitive to that, there's a fair amount in this book. And generally speaking, I'm kind of into horror and Western, so like I was fine with the gore level. I thought it was kind of fun, and there's demons and witches and ghouls and all kinds of things going on. So if you like Westerns, if you like horror, if you like found family, and you like groups of misfits coming together, this is the book for you. As soon as I finished this and I heard that the next book came out, I bought it immediately. So if you love this, you could read the sequel. I read Oathbound by Tracy Deonn. And I'm just gonna say it, I feel like there has been diminishing returns here. And I think it might be a combination of things. One, that there was so long in between each book that like I lose interest in between. Like if possible, I think it'd be great if like the release schedule was fast-tracked a bit more, so it comes out like maybe every year instead of every 2.5 years. Also, it is a chunky book. Look how thick this book is. It is bananas overwritten. I'm just gonna say it. It's too long. You could have taken out 100 pages of this quite easily, and it would have been just as good. There's just like so much development for these characters that is repeated over and over and over again. Perhaps it's in a different situation, but in the end, we learned the same lesson. Am I still gonna read the next book? Yeah, I'm probably still gonna read the next book, because hot damn, does this have a cliffhanger ending. Warning in advance, cliffhanger here. Again! This is book 3 of this series, and all the books are quite long. I'm not gonna get into the whole premise here, but it's essentially modern fantasy retelling of like the Arthurian legends, a bit of reincarnation sprinkled in there, but yeah, it's like a King Arthur and his round table type of story, and fighting demons and such. This book in particular, though, it just didn't hit the same, and honestly, it put me into like such a reading slump because it's so long. And it wasn't quite as good as like book one was. Book two was like not as good as book one, but close. This one I felt it fell off for the reasons I've already stated. However, I do love this series, and I do think Tracy Dion does have her moments of incredible writing in this. So is it worth the read? Yes, if you have the patience to do so. If not, I don't know, maybe wait, I guess, until the whole series is out and you could binge it, because waiting long times in between books is also difficult. So I don't know. I think in the end, I probably gave it like 3.5 stars. It hurts me to say that because it was so anticipated, but it just didn't hit how I wanted it to. Oh my goodness gracious. When Among Crows by Veronica Roth. I love this book so much. Oh my gosh. The best way I can describe it is to say it's deliciously emo. So if you want to read moody, broody, with like all kinds of like Slavic folkloric characters and monsters and stuff, this is the one for you. And I don't know if this is like just me having my expectations exceeded by a lot, because I have read Veronica Roth before and I haven't really been wowed by Veronica Roth. Like, she wrote Divergent and I didn't care for it. But this one, hot damn, I finished this one and I pre-ordered the next book immediately. It's so fun. It's a whole new kind of fantasy world. It takes place in Chicago. Slavic folklore, Baba Yaga type stuff going on here. And it's also, it's queer, it's found family, and it's like folklore monsters. So it's made of things that I like pretty much. Also, novella. It's very short. It's about 160 pages. So you can just read it all in one setting. But yes, love it to bits. Potential to be on a best books of the year list, I would say, but we'll have to see. It is a novella, and those are kind of hard to make the list unless they're really exceptional. In the end, deliciously emo. Just take my word for it. It's very short and it's very good. Last book I'm reviewing in this video is The River Has Roots by Amal El-Mohtar. And I didn't really know what to expect from this one. I know like Amal El-Mohtar, they co-wrote How to Lose the Time War, which is like a really well-renowned book. And so this one, I didn't really know what to expect because, you know, the other one is sci-fi. This was going to be fantasy. And I don't know if I love it. I think it's fine. It is kind of an interesting book because there is like a lot of like illustrations and stuff throughout the book. And it's basically kind of constructed as if it's a fairy tale. Although it is kind of a murdery fairy tale, I'll say. It's very purple prose and lyrical and fairy tale-like. So for me, it got a bit too flowery at times. Like, I wanted it to maybe hit a little harder emotionally rather than just painting pretty pictures. It's two sisters and they sing magic in the world and the fae creatures and stuff. Like, still, it's a fairy tale and it still doesn't have that much plot. I think I gave it like 3 stars because I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's just kind of, it is what it is. I think it's interesting that I read it and I do appreciate like the artistic value. So if you like fairy tales in purple prose, like maybe try this one out. Again, it's a novella. It's about 100 pages. You'll read it in like an hour. It's very short. All right. So those were all of the books I have been reading recently. There was a lot of them because surprisingly, even though Oathbound did put me into a reading slump, I got out of it with reading a lot of other good books. Let me know in the comments down below, what are some good sci-fi books I should try out? Like, I've read a fair amount of sci-fi, but it's not the genre I go to as like my first pick. So give me some recommendations in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like. If you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And if you want cool exclusive content, including early access to videos or a book club, you can consider becoming a channel member or a patron. Links for that are in the description down below. And on that note, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.